Getting a new puppy is so exciting, but with it comes a lot of work as you begin to train and teach them basic commands. But it is so important in the first 6 months to train your dog. The older they get, the harder it is to motivate them to listen and for them to obey you. We started training our dog when he was about 10 weeks. And even at 5 months, we are still teaching him new things today. In this video, I will show you how to teach your dog how to sit, lay down, stand up, touch, shake, spin. While these are all basic commands, they are very helpful and important in the puppy training, as it teaches them to listen and your bond with your pup will get stronger. I believe it is very important that you at least have these basic commands down in your pup. All of these terrible stories that you hear on the news about dogs is usually about they didn't get socialized when they were younger and didn't get properly trained. This here is my dog Zeus. He's 5 months old. He's a husky German Shepherd mix. We got him from a shelter in Rhode Island. Let's get started with the first basic command, teaching them to sit. I would like to also use a hand signal when teaching this. I make a fist over my heart and tell them to sit. Also, be sure to make sure you have plenty of treats to give your dog. The first few times of trying to get them to sit, you may have to push them on their butt and tell them good boy and give them a treat once they have done so.
Oh, Zeus, come here, sit. Sit. Good boy. Good boy. Here you go. Come here. And you can just gently push them on their butt and they'll sit. Good boy. Good boy.
Next is teaching your pup to lay down. Getting them into a sitting position, hold a treat, and your hand as you motion down. Your pup probably won't understand, and you will have to put their front paws down to show them what you are asking.
So you might have to go
but after a few times, they'll get the hang of it pretty fast.
Lay down. Lay down, Zeus. Lay down. You might have to help them. There you go. Good boy. Good boy. There you go. Yeah, there you go.
Now that you've learned the basic commands, you can start teaching them to stay. You have to get them either in a sitting or laying position. I personally found it easier to get them in the laying position first. Get your pup into the laying position and then tell them to stay while holding your hand up, palm towards them, and tell them to stay.
Stay. Stay, Zeus.
Give them a treat.
Stay.
Do this a couple of times.
Stay.
Then take a few steps back. As you get them to stay, you'll begin.
No,
they will begin to learn what's going on.
Lay down. Zeus. Lay down. Lay down. Lay down. Good boy. All right, stay. 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 Good boy. Good boy.
Teaching a pup to stand can be hard, but it comes really useful when you are at a vet or a place where you need your puppy standing.
Stand. Stand, Zeus. Stand. Stand. You kind of want to swing it over to your side and to get some stand. Oh, good boy. I'm going to give you the treat. There you go. All right, sit. 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 All right, stand. There you go. Good boy.
If you have already been working with your dog, learning touch should be pretty easy because they can smell the treats in your hand. Touch. So if you have one treat ready and you hold out the other hand and say touch, your pup should run up and touch your hand thinking it's a treat. Once they've touched your hand, give them a treat. This command can come handy when you have people at the door or you need your pup to come to you. Now for the fun tricks. To teach your pup, shake. This is a pretty simple Your
Sit.
pup just might be looking for
Sit.
treats in your hand instead of shaking.
Sit.
Usually, you have to pick the paw up a few times first.
Shake.
Tell them he's a good dog and give him a treat. Most puppies catch on to this one pretty quickly.
Shake. Shake. Oh, good boy. Good boy.
That last trick you can teach is spin. Be careful of doing this one too many times because pups become sick very easily.
All right, spin.
This one they should learn quickly, as you just hold a treat off to the side of their head and move it in kind of a circle. They should follow your hand as you do it. When they successfully complete a spin, be sure to praise and give them a treat. In conclusion, that's all for today on teaching your pup basic commands and tricks. It is so important to teach them while they're young, especially if you have a certain breed such as Huskies, because training them when they're older is much harder because they are typically a stubborn breed. Although another piece of advice I give is get your puppy socialized. Take your puppy to play groups or anything to get them around other dogs. Best to do this when they're under 6 months of age. That way they know how to be around other dogs and play nice. A few times we took Zeus out. He was a bit aggressive, but eventually he learned how to play nicely. The more experience your dog has while they're young, the better equipped he will be when older. Too many stories in the news about untrained dogs hurting humans. To avoid that, it's best to have trained and socialize your dogs as they're young. There are a lot of places that offer puppy playgroups and classes that can fit pretty much in any schedule, such as Petco or your local pet shelter.